Okay, so today is day 3 of my 10 days of love till Valentine's Day. And today we are talking about real love is not instant. And if you did not check out my day 1, where I give you a brief overview of Valentine's Day, and then my day 2 talking about real love is a choice, make sure you go back and check out those videos. So today I wanted to talk about real love is not instant. So, a lot of times, we have heard the stories where people meet someone and they fall in love with that person instantly, right? And those marriages or those relationships sometimes will last forever in a lifetime. I believe that those people, first of all, I believe that they get lucky. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to say that that's just my opinion. Those people get lucky because that's not something that happens every day, right? But you will find people in this world that they meet someone and they know that when they met that person, that person was the right person for them. But see, here's the thing that we don't understand. They did the work to make sure that person was the right person for them. Because see, they didn't know that person. I'm sure there were a lot of trials and tribulations. There were a lot of things about that person that they realized that they had to understand, they had to accept, they had to acknowledge, and they had to learn to deal with it. Because see, when I think about love being instant, I don't believe love is instant. I believe that love is something that we create, something that we cultivate, right? We cultivate love, right? We create love, right? And how do we do that? I was going through, scrolling through internet, trying to find some things so that because I have my own discernment about what I think this is. But I was checking out a lady by the name of Brianna Weiss, and she wrote a book by the name of The Truth About Everything. And so I didn't go into, necessarily reading a book, but I wanted to bring up some highlights because I totally agree with her on what she says if about real love not being instant. And one of the things that she says is that, number one, you cannot actually love someone that you don't know. She says you can feel attraction for someone that you don't know, but when it comes to the real intimate portion, exclusively way of loving them, you can't love them, at least until you have an idea of who they are. And I believe that. I believe that sometimes when we meet people, we think that we love them. But then as we start to, chip down the pieces and everything and all that honeymoon phase wear away, you get to the core of that person. You get to the real person, right? And so it's at that moment where you get to decide if that's the person that you love. Because sometimes we know that. That's why we have divorces and separations and breakups and all that kind of stuff. Because you realize that maybe there's something about that person you don't like. And it's enough for you not to stay the long haul. Right. So I believe that I'm with her. You cannot love someone you don't know. You may be infatuated with them, right? You may love something about them. You may be attracted to them. But as far as true love, because love is something that's cultivated, you can't love anyone you don't know. Um, Another thing that she says is that love is not created from thin air, right? It just doesn't arise from thin air, right? She says attraction arises from thin air. And that's what I said about the number one, about loving someone you don't know. When you meet someone and you be like, oh, you're falling, you find yourself falling for that person quickly. It's not necessarily meaning that you are falling for them. You love it, you starting to fall for the person that you believe that they are, because you haven't really got to know who they are. So you're attracted to that person, you're falling for that person, right? So you have to really get down and know that person. And if that person is who you say they are and that you love that person, then so be it. But what I'm trying to do is help you guys to understand what true love is, because I'm tired of us getting divorces. Okay. I'm tired of us splitting up. I'm tired of us breaking up. Right. I want us to fix it. I want us to all be together. I want us to be, just in relationships and happy and well, because that's what life is about. Life is about living and loving. That's it. Living and loving. That's it. That's it. And then another thing that she says is that the real reason to love someone are the ones you discover over time. And that's the part of getting to know that person. When you really, really get down to know who that person is, the real reasons that you get to love that person is those things that usually they're the things that you least suspect. It's the things that you least suspect about that person. Maybe it's that person took care of you when you was at your weakest moment or your sickest moment. You know what I mean? Or was there for you when you was experiencing something that you didn't know you were going to go through, right? That's when you find out how much you really love a person, right? That's when you find out when you really love a person. It's when you go through those trials and those tribulations and you wake up on this other side of, or you look up on the other side of it, and that person is there for you. That's when you realize, and it's more than just a phone call. It's more than just, saying that I'm there for you. It's more than that. It's being there. It's doing whatever's necessary to let that person know that you are there for them. That's what love is. That's what love is. No matter what. We're talking about relationships, intimate relationships, friendships, family, whatever. That's what love is, right? But we're going to stay with the love, the intimate relationships, since this is the month of love, February. Okay. And then another one she says, and I'm not going to go through all of hers because she lists 8 of them, but I just wanted to talk about the ones that resonated the most with me. And then another one that she talks about is that you cannot open your heart to someone in one fell swoop, right? And I think that this goes to when people are in relationships for a very short period of time, right? Because listen, you cannot put a timeline on when you think you are in love with somebody, right? Because some people believe that after 2 or 3 months that they are in love with somebody. They believe that. And I am not the judge or the jury. So I cannot sit here and tell someone, hey, you can't possibly love that person. You don't know that person. I have my own opinion. I have my own discernment, but I'm not the one to judge, right? But I just want to always challenge that person to think about, besides the superficial things, right? The things that they want to tell you about the family, how many, relationships they've been in, how many kids they have, what they've studied in college, a little bit about their family before them, whatever. Besides that kind of stuff, what is it that you really know about that person, right? So when I start to question those things and ask them, what is it that they really know about that person? They can't tell me. What's that person's favorite color? What's the worst thing that person has ever happened? What's the scariest dream? What's their biggest fear? Okay, things that mean something. They can't answer those questions, right? So when you think about it, when people say that they love someone after a very short period of time, that's the question I always want to ask that person. What is it that you know about that person that you believe you love? Because people believe that when they have a strong connection with someone, then it becomes love. But that's not really is. It's really just infatuation. And then sometimes we have this need to be in something that sometimes we will make do with what we have and try to force it to fit, especially when things become physical. And that takes me to my next point, in which Brianna Weiss brought up about love is emotional compatibility, not sexual compatibility. I'll say that one again. Love is emotional compatibility, not sexual compatibility. And I want to read the whole paragraph that she has for this. It says, it's not what the rom-coms would have you to believe, but in relationships that last, your best friends more often than your lovers. The sweep away feeling may come and go, but when the foundation is solid enough, it doesn't really matter either way. Listen, that's everything right there. That's a whole mic drop, right? Boom, a whole mic drop. That's a whole mic drop. When everything else goes away, it doesn't even matter, right? Because true love is not something that's sexual. It's emotionally compatible. It's like, no matter what, we are together. When you take away all that other stuff, that's all that matters. Yes, I'm not saying that, in a relationship and love, sex doesn't matter, because it does matter, right? But things happen. People get older, things don't work, whatever, right? You got to figure some stuff out in life. You understand what I'm saying? Especially when you start getting a certain age, you know what I mean? So, whatever. They make medications for it, whatever. But what I'm telling you is that when it's all said and done, there are some things that's just more important than all that when you're talking about true love. When you're talking about true love. So when you want to really get to know somebody, Take all that out. Take all that out and see, because guess what? After a while, if you take away the physical, if you take, when I say physical, I'm not just talking about the sex, I'm talking about the in person. And you talk on the phone, or you do FaceTime or things like that. And you just talk. Not none of this text messaging or DMing or nothing like that. I'm talking about just talk. Just talk, just talk, just talk. Talk. You'll get tired of talking to them after a while, but just talk. You will be amazed at the things that you'll hear in a conversation when words are spoken and even when words are not spoken. And you just listen. You listen, right? You listen. Sometimes you'll hear what you need to hear and sometimes you won't, right? Because sometimes there's nothing there and sometimes there is. But when it comes to love, sometimes I feel that we do not get down to the root of what love really is. We love from an area of sexual before we really get down to what the definition of love is. And I think that when it comes to an individual, we have to define what that means for us. And a lot of us are not true to what the definition is. We're confused about it, right? We're confused about what true love is. And everybody has their definition. You cannot go to Google or go to a dictionary or whatever and say, hey, what is the definition of love? Because they're going to give you a definition of it, right? Or what somebody put to it. But when it comes to you as a person, what does love mean to you? And you have to decide that for yourself. You have to decide how you define love. Because the way you decide it, yeah, the book's going to give you a generic version of it. But for you, what does it mean to you? For you, love may mean, somebody, just being there for you. Love may mean somebody putting your needs before your. Love might mean somebody allowing you to be supportive of them, showing you that you're worthy or you're needed or whatever. It means something different for everybody. You have to decide what it means for you. And only you can decide that. And so, as we are in this month of love, I want us to not just celebrate the 14th. First of all, I want us to celebrate the whole month. But we get so caught up on February the 14th being the day of love. Like I said in my other videos, we spend so much money. Americans spend billions of dollars on February the 14th, Valentine's Day, showing people how much we admire them, how much we love them, all these things. And then February being the shortest month of the year, and we still miss the bullseye on it. We can't even last for 28 days before we go back to our regular schedule routines when it comes to relationships. Believe me, I know. Believe me, I know. I'm not telling y'all what I heard. I'm telling y'all what I know. So how do we keep the momentum going? So rather me talking about my usual thing of dating and all that good stuff, I just really wanted to change it up for the month of February, my 10 days leading up to Valentine's Day, and talk about love, because love is so important. It's as if we have been walking around in this maze, or this and I won't even call it a maze. I would say, yeah, you know what? I will call it a maze. It's as if we have been walking around in a maze, but we're doing it almost robotically. So we're trying to find our way through this maze, right? And we're walking like this. We're going left. Okay, it's a dead end. We go right. It's a dead end. Okay, we got to go back this way. We get a little bit back. We get a little bit further along. Then boom, another dead end, right? And that's how we're going through relationships. That's how we're going through relationships. And I understand. But what we don't seem to understand, or what we're not comprehending, is that it's okay to ask for help along the way. It's okay to get with those elders in your community, those elders in your church, those elders, in your family, and ask them about the tough times. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to ask them about the advice. It's okay to get a coach, a counselor, a marriage therapist. It's okay to get those people and ask them about these type of things. It's okay to sit down and be vulnerable with your spouse or your love or your life partner and talk to him or her and tell them about what you need, what you want, what you desire. How do you guys make this work? It's okay. And I said the word vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable. But people are so much on this grind of trying to get to this and trying to get to that, to they're forgetting about the important thing, and that's love. Love is the most important thing, because that's what life is about. Living and loving. And that's it. That is it. That is it. That is it. Okay? So I want you guys to make sure that you join me for day 4, which will be released today as well. And again, I am Yashika Foster, affectionately known as the Artist of Dating. I empower successful women to date through self discovery by finding their life partners and having the tools to be successful to balance it all. You can check me out on all social media sites as Coach Yashika or the Artist of Dating. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram. And I will catch you guys in the next video.